The context for this design is the aggressive carbon emission mitigation future scenario in which emissions are halved by 2050. In this scenario, the global temperature is unlikely to rise 2 degrees Celsius or more, and it is unlikely that any irreversible damages to the environment will occur as a result of climate change. For this future, a lot of changes would have to occur, but if it is achieved, then the environment would be on course for a massive recovery. Cars produce 41% of transport carbon emissions, so removing those emissions would be a massive step towards halving overall global emissions. Currently, electric cars have two fatal flaws: the lack of an eco friendly source of electricity, unless someone has solar panels, and the time it takes to charge, between 30 minutes and a full day. The lack of eco friendly electricity sources means that cars do not reduce emissions nearly as much, and the charging time is simply a massive inconvenience. Because of the charging issues, people have often opted for hybrid cars. However, hybrids merely take care of the inconvenience while worsening emissions. This design aims to tackle both issues by providing both a way to source electricity in an environmentally friendly manner, as well as give a more easy and versatile way of refueling. This design revolves around a system of removable and rechargeable batteries that fuel electric cars. The design includes a recharge station where these removable car batteries are recharged and swapped. The way it works is that a driver removes a depleted battery, puts it to charge on the charging rack, and replaces it with a fully charged or more charged battery that is on the rack. The driver then pays the difference in kilowatt hours between the depleted battery and the charged one. A crucial detail of this design is that for it to work on a large scale and replace petrol stations, there would need to be uniformity in the batteries. For this reason, all companies would need to make compatible batteries, or otherwise a single company, or even a select few, could be in charge of producing all the batteries. Otherwise, there would not be enough space to charge all the different batteries, and there would likely be a shortage of charged batteries of the specific type needed. For this reason, in this system, new incompatible battery variants should only be released every decade or so, when better technology is developed for them. Regarding the price of recharging, in Australia it currently costs around $32 to fully charge an electric car, whereas it costs upwards of $85 to fully refill an 80-litre petrol car. This range of pricing would remain the same in this design due to electricity being cheaper than petrol. As for the source of the battery charging electricity, it would be produced on the recharge stations themselves. On top of the store, on top of the roof of the racks, and around the station, when there is space for it, there would be solar panels which would feed directly into the charging racks as well as into the store. The recharging station would also have a large battery for storing excess electricity, which could then be used to charge car batteries on overcast days. This is the initial prototype I showed to my stakeholders. It shows details of the batteries, including the charge indicators, handles, and ejection button, as well as a car next to a charging rack. The bonnet is up, as that is where the battery is stored. The intended audience for this design is all driving ages, 16 years and above, so I interviewed two people of different ages, in their 20s and their 50s, to ask them what they thought of my initial prototype. One clear problem that was pointed out is that the 20-kilogram battery would be too heavy for people of advanced age or with back problems to carry. For this reason, I added a help button which would call for assistance from the refuel station employees. Additionally, it was recommended to me that the payment method could be made right next to the charging rack with a system comparable to a vending machine, so that customers need not enter the store. Due to this, I added a system where in exchange for a drained battery being returned, as well as payment, at the vending machine, a selected battery would be unlocked for the person to remove and place in their car. This is the final prototype for my design. This first image showcases the recharge station from an aerial perspective, showing the solar panels that power the chargers. Here's the batteries, which have not changed from the first iteration, as well as the revised charging rack with its ATM-like payment machine. Additionally, there is a close-up of the payment machine with all its features, as well as a view under the bonnet, which showcases where the batteries would be housed in electric cars. This design followed the reasoning from my manifesto, which spoke about removing planned obsolescence and improving compatibility in the future. In regard to removing planned obsolescence, new batteries remain viable with older models for long periods of time until new advancements are made that make incompatibility with old models inevitable. Regarding improving compatibility, if the batteries in these cars were not uniform and each automobile company had their own unique batteries, potentially unique to each model, then the recharge station design would be simply unachievable, and people would be forced to charge at home or not buy electric cars. For recharge stations to replace petrol stations, there would have to be a similar level of uniformity in the batteries as there is with petroleum, where there are only 4 or 5 variations. In conclusion, this design accomplishes what it sets out to do in removing the obstacles currently faced by electric cars in their attempt to reduce emissions. It gives a viable alternative to petroleum, which does not lose in price, versatility, convenience, or eco friendliness. While it may take time to replace the billions of cars currently in use, especially in less well off countries, it certainly offers a viable way forward to a much eco friendlier world that can halve its emissions by 2050 and be saved from irreparable damage.